Namaste friends, my name is Amit. Welcome to my channel Ganesha-Hanuman. Today in this video we'll talk about this major big shift coming up, the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And I've created another video on this, but specifically in this video we'll focus on the conjunction, the big conjunction of Jupiter and Rahu. A lot of people are talking about it. This is a big topic of discussion. So Jupiter-Rahu conjunction, this doesn't happen very often. So the last time it happened was in January of 2016, and after that it happened in June of 2016 because of the retrograde motion of Jupiter. And so after that, it's happening now. So it's happening after about 7 years. Now, a lot of people have this belief that this is a very dreaded, this is a very bad yoga. The Sanskrit name for this yoga is Guru Chandala Yoga. So this combination of Jupiter and Rahu, Jupiter is Guru, Rahu is Chandal. So this Guru Chandal Yoga, people say if you have in your natal chart, it's considered very bad and bad things will happen. And they say if you have this yoga, you may have actually offended your gurus in the past lives. So maybe some truth there, but it's not all that bad. In fact, it can be a very powerful yoga, especially in this Kali Yoga. So I'll explain exactly in simple language how that may manifest for all the 12 rising signs. So I'll show you the chart, what's happening. And so before that, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And so let me share my screen. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So we're talking about Jupiter and Rahu coming together in the sign of Aries. Jupiter enters Aries on April 22nd of this year. Rahu is already in Aries, and Rahu will stay in Aries until November 28th of this year. So for the next 7 months or so, a little over 7 months, Jupiter and Rahu will be together, and so what they call the Guru Chandal Yoga will be taking place. Okay, so let me show you the chart for this placement. So this is a chart as of April 22nd. Okay, so Jupiter has just entered the sign of Aries. Number one sign is Aries. Jupiter has just entered the sign of Aries. Rahu is already there. And for the first 3 weeks or so, the sun will also be there. So that adds another dimension to it. Now, let's analyze this piece by piece, step by step, a very basic fundamental analysis of what this means. Jupiter means expansion. Jupiter is hope. Jupiter is optimism. Wherever Jupiter goes, it actually, fructifies things. It expands. It gives you a lot of hope, and you start making plans, and you want big things. Okay, so the big ideas, big things like that. So Jupiter does that. Now add to that Rahu. So Jupiter is going to meet Rahu. So wherever Rahu sits, whichever planet Rahu sits with, Rahu exaggerates the qualities of that planet. So in this case, let's say Rahu is going to be, so we're analyzing specifically Rahu and Jupiter together. So Rahu with Jupiter means whatever Jupiter signifies, whatever Jupiter was going to do here, Jupiter will exaggerate that, make it even more powerful. So expansion and making big ideas, hope and optimism. So all of that will be even on a giant, bigger scale. Okay, and so that may mean unrealistic optimism, almost like wishful thinking, and in some cases even disillusionment, like you're not at all connected with the reality. Okay, and so that may be the impact, that may be what might happen. But and all this happening in the sign of Aries. What does Aries signify? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is the creation. Aries is the beginning point. Aries is initiation. Aries is creativity. So Jupiter and Rahu together in the sign of Aries means people may start creating big ideas, starting big companies or big projects, or planning huge endeavors, big things. And so that's not a very good thing. It doesn't give you a very cozy, warm, cozy feeling. So that means people may just start doing crazy things on a very big scale. That might have been true, but here enters Saturn. So aspect of Saturn. So Saturn is sitting in Aquarius. All this period Saturn will be in Aquarius, and it's casting its third aspect on Aries. So from Aquarius, this is the first house from Saturn, second house from Saturn, third house from Saturn, right? So Saturn has a third aspect, meaning Saturn will also be looking over Jupiter and Rahu all this while they're making their gigantic mega plans. What Saturn does is Saturn adds the element of practicality. Saturn says, hey, so if they are trying to make big plans, Saturn says, hey, where is the budget for this? Where is the manpower going to come from? Where is the actual your timeline? You know, when will this going to happen? Saturn is the planet of execution. Saturn is the planet of management, and Saturn is the planet of implementation. So ground reality, that's Saturn. So that means Jupiter and Rahu together will start making mega plans, you know, big projects, creating new things in Aries, and then Saturn will keep an eye on them to make them, you know, focus on practical realities as well. Let me give you an example. So, for example, let's say somebody has this combination taking place in their fourth house. So if Aries is their fourth house, we'll talk about all the rising signs, but I'm just giving a quick example. Let's say Jupiter enters the fourth house. What happens in the fourth house? It's your place of residence, for example, one of the things. So Jupiter entering the fourth house, meaning that person may actually think of building a big house. You know, Jupiter will say, hey, let's plan for a 10-bedroom house. Let's start building, or at least let's start planning for it. And then add Rahu to that. Rahu will say, hey, why do you stop at a 10-bedroom house? Let's build a castle. You know, let's build a gigantic, a luxury palace, right? So that's what Jupiter and Rahu will do in your fourth house. But then Saturn comes in with its aspect. Saturn will say, hey, do you have a plan? Do you have the manpower? Do you know where the funds are coming from? Can you even afford that bigger place? So all of that. So that means you will end up creating or building a house that'll be really, you know, good. It'll be spacious, expensive, but based on the ground reality. So you'll actually execute your plans as well. So the good thing with this transit is that Jupiter and Rahu in Aries, along with the impact of Saturn, the aspect of Saturn, people will end up creating big things, but also they'll implement those. So that's the overall theme of these next 7 months. And so Guru Chandala Yoga, yes, happening there. And, you know, Guru Chandala Yoga used to be very, very bad probably in the old times, but now, of course, it's, you know, I'm not saying it's all rosy, but in Kali Yuga, Rahu is the planet of material success. And if Rahu is under the control of Jupiter, it will actually, you know, think of expansion of dharma. And that's taking place in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And Mars is a friend of Jupiter. So Jupiter and Mars are friends. So that is a very positive combination for creating things that are dharmic in nature, and that you will actually implement those plans as well, not just build plans like, you know, hope. It's not just hope and optimism. It's actually ground reality. You'll convert, you'll translate that hope into actual concrete action on the ground. So now let's look at all the 12 rising signs one by one, how this may impact each of you. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So let's look at each of the 12 rising signs. Share my screen. Okay. So this is the chart for April 22nd when Jupiter is going to enter the sign of Aries. Okay. So this is, we start with Aries rising. This is the chart for Aries rising. Number one is Aries. And so you have Jupiter here and Rahu here, and Saturn is aspecting all of those planets. So the first few weeks, Sun will also be there. And so this is the first house for Aries rising. Of course, Aries is the first house. So what does that mean? So Aries is the sign of creation. And if it's your first house, that means this represents your self, your physical body, your intellect, your health in general, your head, that's the body part, your appearance, your self-expression, your identity, and you know, general way of thinking, your mindset, your behavior, all of that. So that means you may actually make some big plans, some projects something connected with your own self, connected with your body, connected with your intellect, connected with your maybe mindset, your behavior. So you'll do big things to have a positive impact, bring about a positive change in your behavior, in your outlook, in your appearance, in your the way your mind works. It's the house of intellect, the in general, how you think and behave, how your mind works. And maybe some new health routines, because the first house represents your body in general. All of that, and you may actually start expressing yourself more confidently. First house is house of self-expression. So you may be very confident and begin a journey which will help you sort of discover yourself. This is the house of self. So you may actually have make a progress in getting to know yourself, your path, your dharma. The first house is one of the dharma trikons. And it's of course, we're talking the fiery sign of Aries. So you may end up self-discovering your dharma, your purpose in life, your identity, the real identity, not just who, like your name and address. It's your inherent identity, your purpose in life. You may actually discover your purpose in life during this transit of next 7 months, when Jupiter and Rahu are together with aspect of Saturn, if you are Aries rising. Okay, so next is Taurus rising, the number 2 sign of the zodiac. That's Taurus rising. So if you are Taurus rising, then this combination, this conjunction, Jupiter and Rahu together in Aries, is taking place in your 12th house. Okay, 12th house is the house of moksha. It's the house of liberation. It's also the house of expanses and losses, house of sleep, house of confinement, ashram or foreign country, or traveling abroad, pilgrimage, house of hidden things, also house of meditation and astral travel, going to the other planes of existence. And it rules your feet, the body part, and also secret enemies and things related with the like isolation, like I said, living in an ashram, things like that. So you may actually start discover new ways of maybe astral travel, new ways of meditation, how you want to stay not essentially spend time with yourself, right? Productive time yourself, like new ways of maybe self analysis, things like that. And so, but also it's the house of losses and expenses. That means you have to keep an eye on your expenses, but Saturn's aspect will control that anyway. But be careful about not overspending. So that's one of the key recommendations for Taurus rising. Do not end up spending too much. But a fantastic time to take a pilgrimage, some big projects for even like foreign travelers, like helping foreign travels. Maybe you might start a retreat center which helps caters foreign clients, things like that. But essentially a wonderful time for you to think about the things that are not visible to the naked eye, like astral travel and meditation and things that are we don't do in our broad day, like day-to-day life in general. Most people don't do that. But excellent time for travel, especially travel abroad for dharmic purposes. Next one is Gemini rising. So Gemini rising, this combination taking place in your 11th house. 11th house represents our gains of all kinds, especially gains from your work, wealth, the money that you make, and also your friends, especially like your network, social network, and it represents your desires, the house of masses, reaching out to the masses through social networks. That's a big one for 11th house. And so that's connected with like large scale communication and media, and also your elder siblings, and it's one of the Kama Trikona houses. So it's a perfect house for networking. And so you may end up starting something new connected with any of those things. So you may actually start a new project with your elder sibling. You may start a new webinar, new YouTube channel, new course online to reach out to the masses through your social network. And you may find new ways of earning, new income sources, new ways of making friends, so new ways of not just financial gains, all sorts of gains, new ways of fulfilling your desires, because this is the key house for your desires. So you may manifest a lot of your big desires during these 7 months, or at least set the foundation and also implement things to start manifesting your desires. All of those things may be happening in the next 7 months. Next one is Cancer rising. So for Cancer rising, this combination is taking place in your 10th house. So this is the first house, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. So this is the 10th house. 10th house connected with our karma. It's the house of karma, like your profession, your vocation, things that we do in broad daylight, also connected with government, authority figures, of course, your career, and also law and order. 10th house is the enforcement of law and order. It's your image, public image, and leadership, and all the people in authority. And so you may start big projects or big ideas or manifest things around those areas, your profession, your work. You may get huge promotion. You may actually interact a lot with government officials, authorities. You may get favors from these people. So all of those are a possibility. Next is Leo rising. For Leo rising, this combination is taking place in your 9th house. 9th house is connected with Dharma. It's the primary, one of the Dharma Trikona. House of Bhagya, it's the Bhagya Bhava, so luck, right? So Bhagya is luck. Connected with, so 9th house connected with father and your superiors, your elders, your gurus, people you learn from, people you look up to. And then the body part is your thighs, and long distance travels, especially for work and also for dharma, for like dharmic travels and higher education and philosophy and discussions and wisdom, house of wisdom, like jnana. It's as I said, a dharma trikona, and visiting temples, things like that. So any of those areas, you might manifest big projects that have a spiritual inkling. Of course, these are the house of dharma anyway. So big projects around, maybe you may actually build a new temple, who knows? You may do a lot of favors of big things for your gurus and teachers. You may do things for your father or along with your father, or you may actually start some projects along with your gurus, like, start teaching some big courses along with your teachers. So you may join a gurukul or a school where with your teacher, with your guru. So that's all for Leo rising. For Virgo rising, this is taking place in the 8th house. 8th house is all about secret wisdom, esoteric wisdom, hidden things, change, transformation, also chronic diseases, all sorts of fears and things that we can't see with the naked eye, and also income from other people especially, but also sudden income, like you may get income all of a sudden, usually from other people, right? And like inheritance, all of that, and research and secrets, all sorts of secrets and insurance and money from in-laws, things like that. So any of those areas, you may start big things, big projects. You may manifest a lot of things in those areas. You may start a very big, like course or research or study into some of these esoteric subjects. So that's the key. One of the biggest blessings of this placement will be you may go very deep in the esoteric studies, and you may overcome your fears. Rahu in the 8th house anyway makes you fearless, and with Jupiter there, it'll give you very immense power to overcome your fears and understand the mysteries of the universe. Like you may go to the depth of the oceans to find out the jewels of wisdom, and there could be a lot of transformation. So any projects, any big ideas around those themes are possible. Next is Libra rising. For Libra rising, this is taking place in your 7th house. 7th house is the house of others, house of partnerships, house of your spouse, your relationship, one-on-one partnerships, both personal and business partnerships. and it's a Kamatrikona and connected with society also, other people. So any projects, maybe with your partner, business partner, or your personal, relationships, any projects connected with the society, all of that is a big possibility. Next is Scorpio rising. For Scorpio rising, you can see here, this combination is taking place in your sixth house. Sixth house is the Ripu Bhava, Shad Ripu, all of the 6 weaknesses. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. It's a Dusthana, but it's also Upachaya, like it gets better with time, and it's house of obstacles and service, serving other people. House of job that we do. Diseases, mostly from Shadripus, and then celibacy and competition, house of competition. House of our enemies, both internal and external, enemies that are visible externally. Digestion and people who work for you, like your employees, your servants, and also the house for pets and the daily routines, starting a new regimen, things like that. So all of those, you could start a new project in any of those areas. Maybe start a new job, start serving people through new methods, or maybe you might start a new ashram, or big idea of how to help other people. So it's the primary house of service to other people. Okay. Then we have Sagittarius rising. For Sagittarius rising, this combination, this transit, this conjunction is taking place in your 5th house. 5th house is the house of children, house of creativity, house of speculation, house of intelligence, buddhi, house of sports, house of romance and love, your learning ability, your buddhi and memory, your stomach, house of mantras and education, all of that. So any of that areas, you may start big projects in those areas. As I mentioned again, children, romance, speculation, creativity, intelligence, buddhi, learning abilities, memory, education, all of that. So you may start a new school, you may start a new course. You may actually have a child in this period if you're that age, if you've been planning to have a child. You may find a new romantic partner. You may start some mantra classes, or you may start teaching mantras. You may start learning new stuff about mantras and mantra shastra, all of that. Next is Capricorn rising. For Capricorn rising, this is taking place in your 4th house, as I mentioned in the beginning of this talk. 4th house connected with the place of residence, of course, the real estate, the vehicles, all the things that give us comfort, our mother, our education, and is the Sukha sthana, Sukha bhava. Sukha means comfort. And the way our mind functions, what gives happiness, inner happiness to our mind, the respiration, and very one of the key things is the place of residence. So you may actually end up buying a new house, building a new house, a big one, buying a big vehicle, and starting new course of study, and at your home, like you may start something at your place of residence, online course, online studies, and also something to do with your mother, like you may start something together with your mother. Okay, so next is Aquarius rising. Aquarius rising, this combination is taking place in your 3rd house. 3rd house represents our courage, our younger siblings, our desires, also our communication skills, all the information that we collect, short journeys, and the body part is our throat and hands and shoulders, and also documentation. All the documents for, let's say, buying a house, all the documentation is 3rd house. And your close friends, not just your younger siblings, the friends that you treat as almost as your siblings. And also your neighbors, so people in your area, neighborhood, short distance travels, running errands, all of that. So you may start projects, and in any of those areas, a project with your younger sibling, with your close friends, with your neighbors, with your, you may start something to do with information, your skill. You may develop new skills. Very, very big positive combination for developing new skills. And this will give you a lot of courage. This combination will give you a lot of courage to fight off the day-to-day enemy. So 3rd house is like the immediate parakram, the courage for day-to-day thing. Sixth house is the actual fighting, the enemies, the battles, but third house is more about day-to-day challenges. And then finally, the Pisces rising. For Pisces rising, this is taking place in your second house. Aries is the second house for Pisces. And so second house is our speech, the food that we eat. It's the family, our family that it's called kutumba. And then the accumulated wealth, your assets and savings, all the money, sanchaya bhava means, or dhana bhava is the accumulated wealth. And so you may start new projects to take care of your wealth, or how to expand your wealth, how to have more assets and savings. Some projects with your family, kutumba, projects related to food or speech also. You may start a new public speaking engagement, a new webinar, or a new YouTube channel, things like that. So all of that is a possibility. So that was the detailed guidelines for each of the 12 rising signs. And so, as I mentioned, this is a transit. Let me share my screen back to where we were. Yeah. All right. So to summarize, this is what's happening. Jupiter is going to be with Rahu for the next 7 months in the sign of Aries, and they will not go crazy. Jupiter and Rahu is could be wishful thinking, could be unrealistic optimism, as I mentioned here, but Saturn will keep them in check. Saturn will bring them down to earth and force them to execute their plan. So there's a lot of optimism, but also action and creation. So you'll do things on the ground for the next 7 months. And depending on your rising sign, where this will manifest depends on your rising sign, and you can see which areas of life you may have big projects going on over the next 7 months. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Again, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Namaste.